Yeah.
That's nice.
So good.
Thank you. I did. Prayer is very it's very important, because and also because we sadly have been so conditioned through Christianity to think it only pertains to Western Christianity, and not knowing that all the cultures before, prayer was just a spiritual relationship you had with yourself and the ancestors. So I always try and remind people, because even just prayer can even scare people, because we've been so, Christianity has just made it be like that's the only way, so you always have to tell people, I mean meditation, I mean chanting, I mean prayer. It's all the same thing.
The fact that you said ancestors got me a little teary-eyed, because when the clock says 11:11, I give grace to all the people that came before.
And go ahead.
And so when you said ancestors, I was like, oh my gosh, I've never really put that word on it. It is beautiful.
Well, that's another thing. Sadly, and I don't know, we're just going how we're going today. Sadly, Christianity took out the spiritual understanding of ancestral belief. The Buddhism has it, Asian cultures, African spirituality has it. Some reason the Romans were like, no, only one. But to pray, to have a relationship with those who are your ancestors who are no longer here, those are your angels. Yeah. Those are your archangels. Those are your guiding lights. Yes, the gods. Yes, those. But really, the ancestors are the ones, your deceased are the ones to really connect with, because they can be your guiding light within your living world. And sadly, Christianity again took that out. But those are the ones to talk to. And those are the ones I talk to. I talked to just recently my Babalawo. And a Babalawo is coming from African spirituality called Ifa, which is the Yoruba Nigerian spirituality, which then Santeria and all of that. But it's all but we call him a Babalawo. He's like a seer, a person connected to the things more than sometimes we allow ourselves to. And he just told me, I just had a reading with him a month ago, and he said, your grandmother needs you to pray to her more. Because, and this is my mother's mother, and because she's got a lot of blessings she wants to give, but you're not doing it. And I'm like, I was doing it because I prayed to like 20 of them. Yeah. Cristiano Latili was that's my grandmother. My father, Shaka Ralph Mwenso, the man who kind of raised me in London, Thomas Blofield, my auntie Cleo, my mother's sister, all the grandparents. So it's a whole list, but I've been dedicatedly in the last 2 months only really praying to my mother's mother, because of what the Babalawo said. But yeah.
Is Thomas the man that was a landlord?
Yeah. Oh, you done your research?
I feel like I know you.
We did our homework.
Oh, you done the research? Oh shit. Okay. Normally I just know spiel. I was okay. Yeah, and well, Tom is the most present ancestor that comes to me in dreams. Wow. He actually came to me today. He's the most present one that, he comes once a week, and it's always back at the old house where we lived in London. Yesterday he came, today he came, yesterday we were in the old house. I told Matthew about it. And I said, we were in the old house, but the ceiling was too small, but I was myself now. And I said to Tom, I'm too tall. And he went, really? And I was like, oof. And I got disconnected. So I think there was a message in there and stuff, but I think it was a good message. I always had when I was 11 years old, I would have a reoccurring dream of my mom leaving me at a train station and her going on the train. And I would tell my mother, like, what is this? What is this? 8 months later, my mother was deported. So the spiritual world was getting me prepared for that, because I would wake up from that dream feeling a certain way. But I always knew from then, like, oh, I can see I have I can see a little bit of the future through dreams. And now, since I've been connecting with Ifa, the Yoruba spirituality, the dreams are like, it's so intense. It's because like the dead, the spiritual, the physical who are no longer here, a lot of the dead come. You know, James Brown comes, you know, that's always,
Ask if
no. He comes, he doesn't come a lot. But when he comes, it's like he's bringing good news because James Brown ain't coming a lot because you know he probably he's another he's living through the music. But he comes, he came, when he comes, it's like whoa, because it's powerful. Name every you have to honor the ancestors by saying their name so their spirit lives. So every interview, every time I mention this man, every hustle on Zoom, we're trying to do the electric route, trying to get people, I'm saying this man's name because that's how you give thanks.
Yeah,
but it's also
I love
sorry Jean.
No, and it's so great to see you here. And
I'm in your second house right now.
I know where you're sitting. But also, I love what you just said, saying the name. So we know Christianity. When you say the name, and not in vain, but when you say it as an honoring spirit, you say the name Jesus Christ.
Yeah.
You better be really reverent and humble.
Yeah.
And those two things, humility and reverence for the consciousness of that person. And I love that your awareness, Michael, your perception is high. It's, like a giraffe, like it's high, so it's tall. That's right. You're overseeing everything on the physical, and you're up high, looking, calling forth your ancestors, so you live in this very powerful, the bridge between physical and spiritual.
That's a very, thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you. It's funny, all the internal father figures were white, and all of the father figures who were black were through the music.
Wow.
James Brown, Winton, all these people. So that's another aspect. Roger was my mother said he was a white man, Tom, people like that. So it's very deep. But this is what people say when they see me on stage. They think I'm in a trance or something like that. I think that because it comes from a lot of sadness too, of how you've retuned the energy to heal yourself through the music, through your trauma, and finding a way, being able to, be an artist, but be able to heal yourself through your trauma, through the artistry, but also allowing yourself to be fluid and vulnerable. I think the vulnerability allows you to be free, so for me, and the stage was, it's where I found happiness, and that's one aspect, because now I found happiness in more holistic, in a different way of artistry. Now I think for years it just was performing but now I love to teach, and I love to go to do the things, and I love to curate community, and then I've loved now teaching all these musicians that I've been able to share my life. So now I've been able to see what else, the fullness of it, the fullness of the blessing of what the spirit of music really can do.
Yeah, wow. So let's talk a little bit about your teaching. Yeah. So Michael, you go into these classrooms.
Yeah.
Are these kids students that are music majors?
No, we didn't want that. When we started Electric Root, and we basically, the pandemic was a great leveler in the performing arts world, which was the world we just were beginning to center in, because of our ability in those last few years to tour, those kind of institutions. And then, but that relationship that you had with performing arts centers, PACs, that could be, like the Walt Disney Hall or whatever like that, was transactional. You go there for one day, you're in and out, you do the show, boom, boom. So now when this pandemic hit the arts world, it leveled the playing field. So now instead of us, where we would have had an agent create that relationship, we now called these institutions and said, hey, we don't want to be transactional anymore. We want to teach when we come. We want to perform. So now we're doing these residencies where we're going. We just came back from Illinois a few weeks ago, and with electric route and using Mwenso and the Shakes as a vehicle to do the work, we go for a week to these universities and I'll teach in classes, Black classes, human resources classes, but music is the throughway. So you're putting me in these classes in a wider array of subjects, but using the Black music to open up conversation within the field that they're working in. So a lot of times, one of these real success stories of the programs we've been offering to institutions is this thing I do called ancestral communal listening, which is where I go to places and basically create community through listening to music together, and conversation happens to deal with anti-racism and stuff like that. So this is what's happening. It's allowed us to really retune and be more Afrofuturistic in how we as artists normally would have connected with these institutions, but now we're really impacting it, devising long-term relationships.
I love that. And the kids, you must see transformations.
Yeah, you do.
Right?
Yeah. You do.
Michael, do you stay there for like a chunk of time?
A good week.
A good week. Wow.
Oh yeah, like we just went at the University of Illinois in Champaign 2 weeks ago. We did a residency, a lecture room, Mwenso Shake Ready. I get there Monday, Tuesday, Wednesday, teaching classes. The band gets there maybe a Wednesday. We go to a community member's house. We'll eat, and then we'll do a free show in the community. And then on the Friday, Saturday, we'll do the big show. So that's how so it's education, performance, and curation.
Wow, that's amazing. And what do you consider success?
Wow. Well, I struggle with that. I struggle with it because I struggle with it a lot because, I tell you why I struggle with it because, you don't, I struggle with it because I shared a lot of my life with people. Mm-hmm. And I don't like to say taught people, but there's a the Shakes is like, it's like 100 people have gone through that band. It basically is a community of musicians now that have gone through it in a certain way over the years of been doing it. Even now, that whole band you saw, it's a whole new band now.
I was going to ask you that, Michael. So
yeah.
That the Shakes is.
It's a transformative. People come in, they learn, and then they go off and do their thing. And that's been also a shake for me, because in me wanting to be and get to where I want to get to, I'm just about getting to there, realizing what the Shakes really is. Because for me, when I've now been living in it, when people have come and then they've gone on to their own success, I felt a certain way because maybe they didn't recognize, or but now I'm kind of getting to this other belief that it is this thing where people, I should look at it differently and not, look at it the way I've been looking at it, because then that is where the human stuff starts to get, why, the things you want, and why am I not here where I want to be? And all of that gets into your brain because you're not really seeing the real bigger picture of what you are and what your mission has been. So I'm just about getting to a place of realizing, really, because I do struggle with where you want to be, where you want to get to, and how you want to be seen. Yeah. So, and because I've shared my life with all of these amazing people, you can struggle a little bit within, you know, what you think success is and what your dreams and aspirations are, and maybe the people you've helped and they've gone on, you know, in other ways that you're like, so yeah. So I struggle with it a little bit. I mean, prayer. The Babalawo, he did say, this is actually the reading he did a few weeks ago, and he said, you know, he says, what did he say? He said it was good. He says, you know, don't be looking at other people, you know? Mm-hmm. Don't be looking at other people. But I got to make a vision board. I want to do that this week. He told me I got to make a vision board. Yeah. And I got to do it, and it's important. And I got to do one. I'm going to try and do it today. He told me a few weeks ago to go to the river and do an offering for one of the gods called Oshun. And I want to do that today because it's been on my mind. And I told Matthew, I said, I got to do it because I feel that the gods are like going, you were told to do something and you're not doing it. Right. Why are you not doing it? Right. And we do that. It's like, what deeper message do you want to change your life when the gods have said do something and you're taking weeks to do it? You know, this was told to me weeks ago. Mm-hmm. Go get honey, get champagne, get basil, go to a river and pray. This is about a month ago, and I've been disgraceful, but the Spirit came to me and said, you should, what would you prefer it if the Babalawo says you get $5 million if you do this? Then you're going to do it. But because because it's the doubt. It's like, this ain't, see, even when you're spiritual, you're still like, where are you really? Because it's like you've been told something and you've taken a month to do it. Yeah. You know, like, so it's, you gotta,
I get it. You know, I was just thinking the other day, when I am in a place of need or fear,
yes,
I do a lot of gratitude stuff.
Yeah.
When everything's rocking and rolling and
no, we don't pray.
You know.
No, I know.
And I thought to myself, that's such a
it's very bad in human nature.
Doing it tenfold.
I try. See, when the things are rocking, now I'm starting to be like, pray and be thankful. Pray and tell them you're great. Like we won an Emmy for this thing we did about George Floyd, this TV thing we did. We got like a New York public, Emmy. It wasn't the big one, but it was like, that one. And
it is a big one.
It is a big one. It is. And as a musician, we're not as aware of actually it is a big one. So thank you for that. I know what you're saying. Mm-hmm. But no, I just was like, just went to the bathroom and just said, thank you. And to just be, to thank them when the things are going good, not then when you start praying when you're fearful. Because even my Babalawo said, he said to me, and this made me feel so bad. He said, Michael, I'm not 911 spirituality.
Well, that's the whole thing. We think, praying is like Amazon Prime. Right?
When things are going wrong, please help me. He was like, I'm not 911 spirituality. You only call me when things are.
I love that.
Yeah.
But it's not magic, it's like he always says to me, he says, I can tell you what to do, but you got to do the work.
Yeah.
Like your character has got to be in alignment.
Yeah.
Otherwise, this is not magic. It's not hocus pocus. You've still got to do the work. People can say things to you, you don't hear them till later.
Mm-hmm. Right.
You see, so people may say things like Wynton Marsalis. He was a father figure, and when I first started working at Jazz and Lincoln Center, he could see that I was, as a young man, I was believing the hype. And I say believing the hype, like, when you're in that kind of power position in New York City, when you're the curator and you're in your 20s and it's New York City and, everyone wants a gig from you, you can go a little crazy, and he went and called me to the office one time. He said, not everybody is your friend. So, have more discernment. And I was like, that was better. But when 10 years later, then you're like, you see it. You realize like, oh, you got to move with protection too. Because I'm a very open person. Sometimes that openness can get me in trouble. It has it's something I've had to learn, to not show myself to everybody and not expose, my spirit to everybody, because one of my ones is that, and Baba Larry told me this years ago. He was like, people will never be jealous of what you have. They'll be jealous of who you are. And that's going to be the hardest thing. Not like they'll be jealous you have money and you have a car. And it'd be the spirit. That's what people are going to be jealous of you. And your spirit has that. It can make people, and I know it. And I know that. So it's a spirit I have to learn how to, even now, I'm learning more to protect it more and not be so open. No, not be so open, but be more smart with how open you can be when you're like this. We're in the midst of working on a new project we're working on, which next month we're working on. We for the last year or two we've been trying to create this TV show.
Wow.
Which is going to be called Michael Mwenso Loves You. So beautifully, about 2 months ago, WNYC here in New York, they basically said, we would like to help you create a pilot for this TV show that you wanted to do. The TV show was going to be like a Johnny Carson, Arsenio Hall show with music hosted by Michael Mwenso, with guests, but also deep conversation like we get to with the vibes, talking about spirituality and ancestors, but also me using music with the band there too, the Shakes. So a mix of Arsenio Hall, Johnny Carson, Jimmy Kimmel, but with some spiritual vibes.
Yeah.
Michael Mwenso energy. So we're doing the pilot next month. For over 3 days. We're filming for 3 days. So it's something it's a new thing, because yes, we did this TV thing, but this is like, okay, it's gonna have a live audience. And it's gonna be, so I'm looking forward to, like, could this work? Could this be picked up? Could we get this into a series? So it's nice to hear that that's what you feel just from, like, not even physically meeting, but then, okay, I wonder if this thing that we're working on, how it could affect,
Pie, cake, or ice cream?
What's
Cake.
your favorite?
Cake.
And what kind of cake?
Kind?
Oh, I was raised in England, so my sweet tooth is disgraceful. I'm strawberry cheesecake. I'm chocolate fudge. I'm peach cob. I'm everything.
Oh, you are.
I'm a sweet tooth boy.
I love that. You've been so wonderful. Thank you so much.